Alright, so this is Floof, guys. It's been having the medical issues lately. He's fine now. He's a good boy. You a good boy, Floof? I got him last year. Well, spring last year. Rescued from some cousins that had him locked to a tree. And he's having the time of his life now out here in the country. Free roaming and doing whatever he wants. Yeah, you get right, Floof. Alright. And then we got Mr. Buddy right here. Also rescued him from the country. I don't know who the people were. But if you guys don't know his story, I was looking for a dog and I saw an ad on Craigslist at like almost midnight. And it was like mid-December or whatever. And they were like, somebody come and get him, we don't want him, just take him from our yard. So I drove like 2 hours in the middle of the night over into Illinois. Just walked in these people's backyard and took him like they had said. And he's been one of the best dogs I've ever had. Oh, and this here's Kane. Well, he's another fluffer boy. He's another woofer dog. He's only, I think they're about, what, 8 months old now? Because I got him in January at 2 months. So yeah, they're about 8 to 10 months old. I got him and his brother Thorn down there, which we'll get to in a second. And I was originally only going to get this guy. And end up getting 2 of them. Yep. And they weren't rescued. They were from a breeder. So, well, I don't know if they're not professional breeder, but they did kind of breed their dog and sell some puppies. But he's been a really good boy too. Yep. And then right here we got Mr. Thorn, which is brother to Kane. Yeah, Thorn. He's a really good boy. Thanks so much. Good boy, Thorn. And I named Thorn after Thorin Oakenshield, the dwarf from The Hobbit. I just like that name. And then we've been waiting for his butt hair to grow back all year because he got a hot spot on his butt in multiple places, in one spot, and I thought I had it healed, and then he chewed up multiple other places and had to shave a lot of his hair off, and he's been missing a big chunk of his butt hair all year. But it's starting to finally grow back. Yep. Hopefully he'll have it back before winter hits so his butt don't get cold. Yep. And then there's Natura. I've had her since I bought my city house in St. Charles. She's at least 10 years old now, I think. So I got her right after I bought that house when I only had Callus and Kune. And then I got her, and then I got Moose, a different Moose. So I'm on my 3rd Moose now. But my first Moose that I had was with her. So, right, Natura? She's a good girl. So, unfortunately, she's probably next in line to kick the bucket here in a couple of years. So, but she's still a good girl. Then the next oldest, Samson. He's about 7 years old from what the people I rescued him from told me. And if you guys remember, he was a fat boy. Look at how nice and trim and healthy he is now. Come here, Samson. Stop running off. Everybody wants to see you, boy. And he's a pink nose boy. He's a good boy, though. Yeah, and supposedly the other boy, Cody, that I got here in a moment, you'll see, is his son. But I don't know, the way they act together, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be that way. But we'll see. Yeah. Good, Sam. And there's Cody boy. Yeah. He came with Samson. I originally saw the ad, and it was, well, I think it was both of them listed, and I saw him, and I was like, I want him because he's a blockhead lab that has a similar look of Kune, and I missed my Kune from last year. I just put him down last November. And Cody is supposedly only 3 months old, or 3 years old. Come here. And he's definitely got the blockhead look of a Kune, but he does not have Kune's disposition or attitude at all. He's totally different. And it's taken me months, yeah, I've had him a couple of months now, for him to finally break out of his shell and come out and explore with us. And he'll actually come up to me every once in a while and want some lovins and hugs and petting and stuff. Took a while for that. So, and he too was also incredibly overweight and had injuries all over his paws. And he still needs to lose some weight, but he's way more fit than he was. And then there's the Moose. The Smush Boy. And you guys all remember me getting him a couple of years ago from a local just down the street from me in St. Charles. And his story was that he was locked in a cage for, they told me, 16 hours a day because they both worked. And when I got there, the cage that they had him in was for a small dog. So he was like smashed in there, and he barely had any room to move. And after I got him for like the next I'd say at least 8 to 10 months after I got him, he kept getting injuries on his legs and limping and stuff like that because he was pulling muscles in his legs because he was locked in a cage most of his early part of his life. And he didn't have time to get out there and strengthen his muscles and develop them, so he was constantly pulling them and hurting them. But he finally overcame it and became a really good dog, except he's kind of a little wuss. And whenever you hear in the video of the whining or the yarp yarp or whatever, that's Moose being weird. Or the whining, yeah, the constant whining. I don't know why he does that. So, but he's been a good boy. He's very loyal, sleeps with me every night. So, right, Moose, come here. Smush boy. Yeah, you a good boy, Moose? Yeah, always a good boy. Alright, and next we've got Kagali, which I've had her since back in the city too. And I wouldn't really say she was technically a rescue, but kind of, because I got her from some college girl or whatever that had her locked in another college girl that had her locked in a cage in an apartment. And she was only about 4 or 5 months when I got her, maybe 6, I think. But again, the story, locked in a cage at college all day, too tired to really do anything with the dog after they got home, and just needed to find her a better place, so I took her in, and she's been decent, but she's been a snot. Come here, Kagali. But beyond just being an overall snot, she likes to bark and cause trouble and instigate fights and everything, and she's also responsible for killing 2 of my dogs now. She killed my original Crimson. Yes, you did. And then earlier this year, she was also responsible for helping kill Coco. And I know, technically I should have put her down too, but everybody else seems to hold their own with her, so everything seems to be fine at the moment. So I guess I'm going to hang on to her for a while. She's still got quite a few years in her. And then there's Copper Boy. Hey, Mr. Copper. And once again, I found Copper listed online. It wasn't an apartment, it was actually a nice house. It was actually a very, very nice house, but it was one of those people that are like clean freaks. Come here, Copper. And after having him for a couple of months, again, locked in the cage most of his life, because they were clean freaks and they didn't want him running around inside the house at all. He could only go outside to play. He was not allowed to roam inside at all. At least according to what they told me. And after you saw the house of how freaking spotless the place was, and no shoes, and booties to walk over the carpet and all kinds of stuff, that's no place for a dog. And they didn't want him because they thought he was going to get like super big. And I brought Buddy as an example of showing how big he could have got. No, not as big as Buddy, but good-sized dog. They're like, nope, let's get rid of him. So I took Copper, and Copper's been a great little buddy to Buddy all for quite some years. Cool. He's a good boy. He just eats too fast and tries to kill himself all the time. Yeah, crazy boy. And the next biggest doggy is Scifi. Hey, Scifi. I've only had her for a couple of months. If you guys remember the story with her, she was dumped locally, I think about 8 or 10 miles from me, and one of the locals down there found her with, I think she had 3 sisters and a brother, and they were all black. She was the only brown puppy of the lot. And as you guys all know, I like brown and tan doggies or lighter colored dogs. So I instantly was like, I gotta take her, and went and got her. And she's been a great dog. Her sister Nala, little black girl, is across the street. They don't get to play very often, but every once in a while I try to get them out there and play. So, but she's been a great dog, and lately she's been a great friend to our newest puppy, Xander. So, anyway. And then we're down to Callus and Crimson. The 2 little inseparable miniature fox red labs. And I got both of these 2 from an actual breeder online. I went to a dog site. I was looking for some new labs, and I wanted some fox red ones, and I found them, and I drove all the way to the other side of Missouri. It was a 6-hour drive one way when I went and got these 2 girls. And they were exceptionally small when I went and got them, but looking at all their other dogs that they had and all their other puppies that were growing, they were normal sized labs, about 2 times as big as these girls. But for some strange reason, these 2 that I got stayed little miniatures. Right? You guys are little mini labs? Yeah, it's like you just stayed in puppy form all your life. And these 2 sisters are just inseparable. They sleep together, they play together, they run together, they drink together. They're crazy little girls. Yes, they are. And while I'm slightly, I've mentioned it before, I'm slightly disappointed in their size, because I prefer bigger dogs. They've been incredibly great to have around. So, Xander! And then lastly, there's little Xander that I just got on Friday. Yep, Xander boy. Yeah. And he is a Shepherdor. German Shepherd mixed with a Lab. Never had a German Shepherd or mixed with a Lab before. I've never had one of these guys. And I was at work on lunch, and I saw this guy posted to the local, pet rehoming page or whatever. And it was again another one of those classic stories of they live in an apartment and he's locked in a cage, and they're gone most of the day, and they just decided it's now no life for him. Don't have time for him, so I was like, well, I will definitely take this little monster. Yeah. Where's Xander? And give him a better life out here. Yep. And I don't think he's ever been with another doggy before, or out of his cage or apartment for very long, outside except to poop and pee. He's probably never had the country life. Yep. And he's been living it up. Had him for, this is what, the third day now? And he is having a blast. Surprisingly, he's gotten along with my entire pack quite well. Except for a couple of them are still kind of iffy with him, kind of snap at him. But it's because he's new. But outside of that, he's been a great little poop. And sure, he's probably going to get, I don't know how big he's going to get. He looks kind of small for 3 months, but I don't know. I'd say he'd probably get at least Callus size, which is, or Natira size, which he's just standing next to right there. So, but who knows? I don't know. I've never had a Shepherdor before, so I'm not quite sure how big they're going to get. They say they can get pretty big, because German Shepherds can get pretty big. So, anyway, that's my pack of monsters. It's a long video. I know you guys have been waiting for this for a while. And, while I'm saying I probably won't get another dog for a while, it just depends on what pops up. I'm never actively seeking, but if there's a dog that I enjoy the ad of and the look, you never know. You just never know. So, alright, see you guys.